Hi, this is Laura. I am redoing my broken ankle workout video. I'm so happy about all the great comments that I got from everybody. Thanks so much if you commented. And the reason I'm redoing the video is because the old video had copyright music in it, and so I want to redo it without the music. And also, there were a few changes that I wanted to make after looking back at the comments that you guys made and looking at the video itself. I felt like there were a few changes that I could make. So for anybody out there that hasn't seen the old video, sorry that I went through that whole spiel. Basically, 3 years ago I broke my ankle and I had a really hard time getting back into a fitness routine. And so at the time I was really dismayed that there weren't a lot of resources out there for workout routines for people with an injury. And so I decided to make up one of my own. I think that in the intervening 3 years, a lot more stuff has been put out there on YouTube, so I'm really happy to see that. However, I still don't see a whole lot of full-length workouts. So this is a full-length workout. The whole thing probably takes about 45 minutes or so. And I'm going to put a link in here so you can skip this intro next time you watch it. Just the main things that I want to remind you about is, number one, congratulations that you decided to continue your fitness routine even though you have an injury. So I'm really proud of you, and I'm really excited for you, and I hope that this is helpful. The second thing is I want to really encourage you. I'm going to try to remember to cue it, but I'm going to really encourage you to use your core throughout the workout. It's going to be really, really important so that you don't injure yourself. And then the last thing is, again, always listen to your own body. I'm going to be giving modifications. When my ankle was broken, at the time when I recorded my original video, I was able to put some weight on my broken ankle because I had a walking cast. So if you're in a situation where you can't put any weight on your broken leg, ankle, or foot, you are going to need to modify some of these exercises. But I'll try really hard to point that out when that's the case. I am not a fitness professional. However, I do love to work out, and I hope that you guys find the routine helpful. So we are going to start with a warm-up, and I'm using a timer application on my phone, so sorry if you hear any annoying sound effects. We're going to do 30 seconds each of each warm-up activity, and I'm going to start with shoulder rolls. So we're just going to do shoulder rolls, just kind of loosen up the joint. I always like to do a lot of dynamic moves and dynamic stretches to warm up. I don't like to start out with static stretches. We'll save those for after. About halfway through, I'm just going to switch directions from backward to forward. You can kind of do this how it feels good to you. You can alternate if that feels better. Just kind of warming up the shoulder joint, getting things moving. Next, we're going to do windmills. So again, I'm sitting kneeling right now, but with your broken limb, you may need to stretch one leg out like this. That's fine. You know, maybe you need to put both your legs out. Whatever's comfortable for you. You can do this also sitting on a chair, of course. So I'm just doing backward windmills right now. Get your heart rate up a little bit. Going to switch to forward windmills. And I'm just going to keep going for a little bit. If you're able to, you can even stand on your knees. That'll kind of allow you a little bit more movement. Try and keep your core nice and tight. And finally, I'm just going to do some neck rolls for the last 30 seconds of warm-up. Just kind of roll it around, all the way around, one direction. Switches to the other direction. This one just feels so good. All right, that's the end of the warm-up. Okay, so we're ready to get started with the actual workout. This is basically an interval circuit training type workout. So we are going to be repeating all of the exercises at the beginning part of the workout, and then at the end there's a couple of ones that I don't repeat. So I'm going to get my timer going, and we're going to start with a bridge with a fly, and we are going to be using weights. In fact, I have 2 sets of weights, one that's slightly heavier and one that's lighter. You know, just use whatever weights you're comfortable with. All right, let's get started. All right, so for the bridge with the fly, taking my slightly heavier weights, and I'm just going to do the bridge with, I do have weight on my heels here, so as I bridge it up, using my core and squeezing my glutes, I'm also doing a fly at the same time. So I'm just kind of working my shoulders, my abs, my glutes, even my hamstrings a little bit with this move. Now, if you cannot put any weight on your broken limb, what you might want to do is stretch out the one leg that's injured. That is going to make it a little bit uneven because you're going to be really working hard on that other leg. So another alternative modification would be just to do the fly by itself. So you could just stretch out your legs flat, or if it's more comfortable for your back, just kind of bend your knees like that. Either way, just try to keep those abs in nice and tight. If you are able to put weight on that broken limb, go ahead and do the bridge. Okay, so the next one is we're going to do a press with a headbanger. So we're going to stay in that same position, and we're going to stop doing the bridge. We're just going to press it up, and then do a headbanger. So again, try to keep the abs nice and tight. I'm just using the same weight that I did before. What's going to happen at the end of this set, I'm going to do 1 minute of abs, and then we're going to repeat the same 2 exercises. So the second time through will go a little bit easier. Getting some nice tricep work in here. All right, so now we're going to do 1 minute of basic crunches for our ab work, first set. So bring the legs up if that's comfortable for you, and we're just going to crunch it up. You want to try to lift your shoulder blades off of the floor, but you don't want to curl your chin too close to your chest. You want to be able to fit like a fist between your chin and your chest. And depending on how strong you are, you may be able to curl it higher than I do. Just be really careful and make sure that you're not pulling on your neck. So my hands are just kind of resting behind my head, but I'm not pulling on my neck. And you can also lift your legs straighter if that's comfortable for you, or you can keep the knees kind of bent, whatever is more comfortable for your back. You should really be feeling this in your abs, like right here. Try to look straight up at the ceiling when you do these. All right, let's do our second set. So again, bridge with the fly. If you can do the full exercise, go ahead and do it. Modify as needed. Again, we're just going to be doing this for 1 minute. All right, let's go on to the press with the headbanger. So elbows out, 90 degrees, press it up, turn, and headbanger. Don't actually hit yourself in the head though. These weights are starting to feel a lot heavier to me now that I've been doing a few of these. If you're just getting started, of course, you can always just leave the weights out altogether. I imagine, though, that most people who are working out, even though they have a broken limb, are probably already pretty avid exercisers. All right, for our second set of abs, we're going to do an inverse crunch. So starting in the same position, but we're just going to keep our legs like our heads down. And you can have your knees straight or slightly bent. I prefer mine slightly bent. And you're just going to lift it up a tiny bit using your low abs. So this kind of, you might feel this a little bit in your hips, but you should really feel it like deep down in your intrinsics and in your lower ab muscles. You don't really need to lift up a lot. It's all about targeting those tiny little muscles down there. Next. All right, very good, great job so far. We're gonna move on to military press. I'm gonna use my slightly lighter weights for this one. So you can do these sitting down. I'm comfortable on my knees, so I'm just gonna do it like that. Again, it just depends on the nature of your injury. But just doing a basic military style overhead press, working out the shoulder. These start out really easy and then they start to get really hard. At least that's how it is for me. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. All right, let's move on to bicep curls. I'm going to use my heavier weight for this one. Keep your arms kind of pinned in at your sides and just curl it up. It's great if you can kind of get your muscle to pop at both the top and the bottom. If you kind of pop it at the bottom, you get a little bit of tricep work in there too, which is always good. Remind myself what's coming up next. It's been a while since I originally designed this workout. So we're going to do another set of basic crunches and then inverse crunches on our second set. All right, let's do another set of basic crunches. You already know the ropes on this one. Sometimes it's helpful in this one if you can kind of exhale as you come up and inhale on the way down. Ooh, all right, let's go back to our shoulder press. To be perfectly honest, I'm really not a fan of crunches, but the thing is, with a broken leg or a broken ankle or foot, it kind of limits you with respect to abs. Like, there's still a lot you can do, but a lot of my typical ab work that I like to do is a little bit harder to manage. That's why I have so many crunches in this workout. So again, I'm just doing military style press. Try really hard not to lean back when you do these. That can be really bad for your back. If you have to lean a little bit forward, but you should really try to keep your posture pretty erect. All right, let's go back to our bicep curl, switching back to my slightly heavier weights. One of the nice things about doing circuits like this where you repeat the activity is it kind of helps you to get the exercise into your body, but also it's a nice opportunity. If the first set was too easy, you can always bump the weights up. If it was too hard, you can always lower the weights on the second set of reps. Let's do our last set of inverse crunches. All right, let's move on to our next set. We start with a combo of lateral and anterior raises. I just like mixing it up a little bit this way because for some reason when I just do a lateral raise or just do an anterior raise too much, it just, I don't know, it just gets really boring or something. So I'm basically just doing an anterior raise or a forward raise, in other words, on one side while I do a lateral raise on the other side. Just remember to keep your shoulders down, really for all of these activities. You don't want your shoulders coming up here by your ears. You want to really make sure that your shoulder blades are sliding down your back so you have really nice posture. But at the same time, don't let your ribs pop out either. So use your abs to keep the ribs in nice and tight. And there can be a slight bend in your elbow on these. That'll feel a little bit better for you. I'm using my light weights on these because these can get hard pretty quickly. All right. On the next one, we're going to actually do push-ups, and this is another one where it really depends if you can put weight on your broken limb or not. So you'll probably want to use your knees for these, and a minute of knee push-ups is actually pretty challenging, and even if you can do full push-ups. For some of you, if your leg is in the situation where you can't even put weight on the knee like that, what I really recommend is that you do a wall push-up instead. Actually, I'll just go over there and show you what I mean. So you might need to get your crutch or whatever to get over to the wall. Once you get there, just put the weight on your good leg. I'm just going to pretend my left leg is my good one. And then just kind of do the same movement of a regular push-up against the wall. It's a lot easier than a real push-up. Okay. For our abs on this one, we're going to seated twist. We're just going to sit, and you can have your legs floating. And we're just going to twist from side to side. This is a really nice one for the obliques. If you want to pick up a weight, add a little bit more challenge to it. If this is too challenging, you can also just put your feet down. It's still pretty hard, even with your feet down. If you're crossing your legs like I am, just switch them about halfway through. Which one's on top? Let's go back to our anterior and lateral raise combo. Again, you can easily do these seated in a chair or on the floor if you're not able to kneel. Doing great with this workout. Keep it up. It can be really hard to get back into it after an injury. So you should be really proud of yourself. To be honest, not my favorite, but it's such a great ab workout too. I'm just going to do it for my knees because I don't even know if I can do a minute of knee push-ups. Try to keep your body in a straight line from the head to the shoulder to the head to the knee. You're doing a full push-up to the ankle as well. So you don't want your body up like this, making it too easy, but you definitely don't want to be sagging like that. That would be really bad for your back. I think I'll stick with the knee push-ups. Let's keep going. You can do this, Laura. Oh my goodness. Alright, we're going to do side-to-side rolls on our back. It's a really nice one just for the abs. And it's kind of relaxing too. Just lay down, put your arms straight out to the sides. And just roll from side to side using your abs to control the movement. Your legs should be in tabletop position, so your knees are at roughly 90 degrees. Don't go any further than you can control the motion. You may be okay with going all the way to the floor, but more likely you need to work your way to that point. Just be really careful with it, be really controlled. Otherwise you could hurt your back. Alright, next one, you can use the weight or not. We're going to do sort of a lateral side raise. So again, if you can do this, put your weight on the one knee, stretch the other leg out, and then just kind of lift up like this. If you want to use the weight, you can. Or if you need more support, just kind of keep your arm down. You can even reach your arms out like this if you want to be really challenging. What we're working here is the oblique. Now, if you can't put weight on the knee like this, a nice alternative is just lay down on your side and just lift both of your legs. Try to keep your legs together like one leg and try to really engage your abs. Keep your body in more or less a straight line. And you should really feel this in the oblique again on this side. So that's the modification. If you need it, go ahead and switch to the other side. So again, the more challenging, arms out. Or just keep it down like this. That's fine too. My computer just fell asleep. So after this, I'm gonna have to interrupt for a second. I think the camera is still recording. Again, if you have the weight and you want to lift the weight at the same time, just really make that mind-body connection to your oblique, which is what you're working right now. right, let's go ahead and do that whole thing again. So we're just going to repeat on this side. Again, it can be pretty challenging with the arms up. I think like 15 or 30 seconds wouldn't be too bad, but a whole minute is a little bit rough. Hopefully my computer won't fall asleep again. You can't really tell maybe, but my leg that's going out to the side is totally straight. It's not bent. Ooh, switch to the other side. Try to make it even on this side. Yes, that is my cat behind me. A few more reps, we're almost there. Let's punch it out for a transition. This next couple of sets we're going to be doing just like one rep on each side. We're not going to be repeating everything like before. So just punch it out. Kind of like loosen up those obliques that we were just working so hard. Keep your abs in nice and tight, but get that nice twisting motion just to kind of refresh what we were just tightening up on so much. Also, it's a nice opportunity to get out some of that aggression that you might have about your injury or anything else going on in your life. Just keep punching it out. Again, though, try not to get the shoulders up too high. Try to keep them down. All right, let's move on to donkey kicks. Set up in a nice, your back in tabletop position. And again, this is one where you may have to modify if you can't put weight on that leg. I'm going to show you the main exercise first, then we'll go through some modifications. So donkey kicks are basically drawing your knee into your chest and kicking it out straight. You don't really want to lift it necessarily up above your back line, but just level. Now, if you're feeling really strong, you can also take the opposite arm from your leg and you can punch out at the same time. So like that. So you should be getting a little bit of a crunch in there, and at the same time, you're working the glute. And if you add in the arm, you're working the shoulder as well. So I'm just going to stick with this, and then I'll show you the modification when I go to the other side. All right. So if you're doing the full exercise, again, just shift your weight to your other leg. Just kick it out. Optionally, you can punch the arm at the same time. You should really feel the crunch when you pull it in. Now, if you can't do this one, an alternative exercise for the glute would be to lay on your stomach. Try to keep your core nice and tight even though you're laying on your stomach. And just kind of like lift up with one leg. So when the full exercise is kicking out with that leg, you're just lifting up. I think I'm actually on the left side though right now. So I should be doing this. Now be careful with this. If it hurts your back, then don't do it that way. Another alternative would be just lifting up with both. It's a tiny, tiny movement. You may not even get your knees really off the ground at all, but you should still feel it in your glute and maybe a little bit in your hamstring. All right. Let's just go ahead and repeat this one. So I'm going back to kicking out my right leg. So just donkey kicks. Again, the optional punching out. You can even use a weight if you want to. It can be a little challenging to do that for a minute, but if that's where you're at, by all means, go for it. Some nice work for the standing arm and leg too with this exercise. One more set on the other side now. Donkey kicks. Try to keep your back as flat as possible. Start losing your form, then maybe decrease the range a little bit. After this, we're going to be doing bicycle crunches. Alright, so we're transitioning back into abs. You're going to lay on your back, kind of bring the knees into tabletop, hands behind the head, and you're going to basically twist one elbow towards the opposite knee, or even twisting the shoulder really. And as you do it, you outstretch the other leg to 45 degrees. Now, for those of you that have a cast, lifting out the leg with the cast is probably going to be pretty challenging. Those casts can add a lot of weight. So if you need to, you can just modify by decreasing the range. Try to really keep your abs in nice and tight the whole time you do this. Another alternative would be just twisting from side to side with the legs at the mat, or even with the knees in. Just kind of doing something like this. Whew. All right. So we're just gonna do one set of butt kicks. Gonna lay on our stomach, shoulders above the elbows, and we're just kicking twice on each side. Now, if it's comfortable for you to do this with your knees together, go ahead and do that. For me, that's not good for me, for my back. So I have to have my knees separated. If this hurts your knee, then you may need to just sort of skip this one. What this does, though, is in addition to working the hamstring, it also kind of stretches out the quadricep muscles. We're going to move on to some leg stuff, and then we're going to be pretty much done. So lay down with your back aligned along the back edge of the mat. Stretch out your legs at a 45-degree angle. We're going to just start with outer leg lifts. Try to really keep your back in a neutral position and engage your abs. Sorry about the cat. Cleo, not right now, sweetie. And we're just kind of working our outer thigh right now. That's what we're doing. It's a good thing I'm not a professional because I don't think anyone would take me seriously. At least my dog knows that no paws are allowed on the mat. Not so with the cat. She does what she wants. Whew. These start to get hard after about a minute. Now we're going to do an inner thigh lift on the other side. So just grab that knee and pull it in towards your hip area. And now we're just doing an inner lift on the other side. Everything else is pretty much the same. Try to keep that spine neutral. Try to keep those abs engaged. In addition to working the inner thigh, you should also feel some ab work going on, especially in the lower abs. Okay, come back later. So we're basically going to do the outer thigh and the inner thigh on each side. And that's going to be it for our workout for today. So great job. You guys are in the home stretch. This is another one that's going to be really hard if you have a cast. So don't feel bad if you have to really slow down on the reps or you're not able to lift as high. All right, let's shift to the other side. Remember to line yourself up with the back edge of the mat. Helps you get a straighter line. 45 degrees on those legs. And let's do the outer thigh on this side. There's also some nice static work for the leg that's supporting you too. You kind of feel it in the hip flexor and a little bit in the glute. It's a nice exercise. Old school. Kind of reminds me of some of the 80s mat workout videos my mom had. It's good stuff though. Just keep going. I know that leg's starting to feel really heavy at this point. Whew. All right, we're almost there. Inner lift on the other side, and then we are done, and we're just going to do a little cool down after that. My cat thinks my hair is one of her toys. I should have just ignored her. That probably would have been funnier. Keep going. We are so close. Leg is getting so heavy right now. Whew, thank goodness. Great job, everybody. Just turn off my timer. And let's just do some nice stretches to cool down. Excellent job. I'm super proud of you. You made it all the way through. But don't forget about the cool down, because that's really important. So let's just do a nice straddle stretch. Probably a lot of y'all are way more flexible than I am. So we're just going to kind of stretch to one side. And this is just a nice way to stretch out your hamstring as well as the side of your body. Try to keep your knees, as straight as you can. Try to keep both butt cheeks on the floor though while you do this. Come to the other side. Same thing on this side. Oh, it feels so nice. Just a nice cool down. Just kind of breathe. Relax a little bit. Just come to the center again. Just kind of go over to a degree that's comfortable for you. Never strain. And next, if your calves will allow you, I'm just going to do a nice butterfly stretch. Stretch out the inner thighs a little bit more. Just kind of come over to the degree that's comfortable for you. Now let's just do a seated twist. So I'm just going to stretch one leg out, taking the opposite leg, crossing it over with the knee at 90 degrees. And I'm just giving myself some leverage by pressing my elbow against the opposite knee. So this is a nice one to kind of stretch out your back. I'm feeling it a little bit in the shoulder as well. Also the side of my leg, just a little bit. You can turn your head all the way around too if that feels good to your neck. And let's just do the other side too. It just feels so good. It always feels a little different from one side to the other too. Kind of reveals a little bit of imbalance, and we all get those imbalances. One of your major goals, once your cast comes off, is going to be trying to rectify a huge imbalance in your body. All right, let's just take a minute and just do a few arm stretches. So I'm just going to kind of grab my hands behind me and just reach back. So this feels really good. And then grab the elbow, point it toward the ceiling. Nice stretch for the tricep, and the shoulder. And then just do the other side. We're almost finished. And then let's just kind of stretch across the front too. So get the outside of the shoulder a little bit more. Again, try to keep the shoulder from coming up by your ear. And the other side. Feels so nice. All right, great job. So we are done with our workout for today. Congratulations, I'm really proud of you for working out even though you have an injury. And if you like the video, please post some comments. If you have any other feedback, I'm always open to constructive criticism. And I'm thinking about posting more videos, so I'm just going to kind of see what kind of response I get. But again, I do want to encourage you to keep on working out. Try to keep up with your fitness routine. It's going to help you so much. I know it made such a huge difference for me when I was recovering. And you could never guess that I had a broken ankle. It's completely better now. I'm running further than I ever have before. And so keep your chin up. It is going to get better. And it'll all be behind you in no time. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.